Okay, so we are the Machine Mavericks FRC Team 7480, and we're here to do a quick core values presentation for the FLL kickoff event. So first off, we'd like to just mention what the core values actually are. So there are six main core values, and they are discovery, which is exploring new skills and ideas; innovation, which is using creativity and persistence to solve problems; impact, applying what we learn to improve our world; inclusion is respecting each other and embracing our differences; teamwork, working together and solving the task; and fun, of course, is just enjoying and celebrating what we do on our FLL team. So how do we practice the core values? So on the teams that we've helped out with and that we've been on in the past, we've done a lot of weekly core value activities. And so we assign roles to each member of the team in order to get these activities done. So there'll be a reader that reads the instructions for the activity that we're doing, a materials organizer that organizes all the equipment and tools we'll be using for the activity, a time manager that keeps us on track so that we don't run out of time. We have a cheerleader that makes sure the team is still in good spirit. And we have an includer that makes sure everybody's included in the activity and everybody's contributing their ideas that they have. And at the end, we always debrief and ask questions to make sure that everybody understood what's going on. And make sure to use the rubric. And our team, the Machine Mavericks, will be putting out on our website, which is www.machinemaverics.com. We'll have a core values activity booklet that has some example core value activities for your team to try out.
So some common mistakes that people make when they're doing the core value challenges. Talking over each other is a big no-no. The judges will want to see that you guys can really work together and respect each other. So it's important to do some active listening and listen to every single team member who's participating in the challenge. Another thing that you want to do is make sure that you're always looking at the person who's talking. If you're just wandering around, it'll show the judges that you're not really interested in, that you don't really care about the other members of your team so much. So you want to make sure you're looking at whoever's listening and really contributing to part of the group. Another thing that you want to avoid is the same people answering all of the questions. So when you do your core values judging, the judges will probably ask you some questions about your team. And it's really important that every single person on the team answer some of the questions, because it just shows that you are one team and that you're really good at working together. Another thing that you want to make sure you're doing is discussing and sharing all of your ideas. The judges want to know that you can include everybody and that everybody feels welcome on your team. So when you're doing the core values challenge, it's really important not to shut anybody's ideas down and to listen and take into account what everybody is saying. Another thing that adds on to that is never argue over a core values challenge. Maybe you can definitely disagree with people, and it's really important to show the judges that you can respectfully disagree, but it's never okay to argue. So always discuss your ideas and share, and show the judges that you're really good at working together. And in the end, the core value challenge isn't necessarily meant to be completed. The judges just want to see that you can work together as a team, and that you just work well together. And that doesn't mean that you have to complete the challenge. You don't want one person doing everything. So to further your team building activities, there are a couple of things you can do just to go above and beyond. One of them is active listening techniques. So this means that, whether you're doing a core values challenge, building a robot, working on the project, you always want to be actively listening to the person who's speaking. So this means, making eye contact, not being distracted, playing with your shoelaces, stuff like that. And maybe listening. If you agree with something they're saying, you can go, yeah, I agree. Or if you disagree, maybe raise your hand and, talk to them about it. And it just means being aware of what's happening and listening like a good team member. Another thing that you can do is something called empathy activities. And this just really helps your team bond and get to know each other well and treat each other with kindness. So you can do things like writing a compliment on a piece of paper for everybody on your team, or just sharing good things that happened during the day. Because in the end, when you do your core values challenges, or really any part of working on the robot or project or any part of FLL, it's really important to have empathy for your teammates and when you're working with them. And then when you go to the competition for other teams. Another great thing that you can do, both students and mentors, is to remind students when they're working well together. So, you could say to your friend, hey, I like when you included Sarah when you were making that robot arm, or notice how you were doing this. I really like that example of teamwork. Or maybe if you notice people not really working so well together, you could say, hey, I noticed that. How could we improve that for next time? Because we just want to build a better team and work really well together. So now, what is the judging session really going to look like? The judges will first probably ask you to do a core values activity. So you'll probably have already practiced this by then. And they're just going to evaluate how you work together as a team. And what's really important is that they're going to use the core values rubric. So everything they judge you on will be on that rubric. So it's really important that before the judging session, you look at the rubric and see what they're going to be looking for. So before you do the challenge, make sure that you form a basic plan before you do the challenge, because it'll just show the judges that you're ready and you know how to plan. And it'll also help so much when you do the actual challenge. It can be a bit stressful when you're in front of the judges for the first time, and there's often a time limit on the challenges. So making a plan is really important. After the core values challenges, the judges will probably ask you some questions about your team. And as you'll see in the next slide, they can be silly, goofy questions or more serious ones. And remember, they're all judging you on the rubric. So you want to answer the question that they ask in the rubric. So another really important thing that shows that you can work well as a team is that if you notice that someone is talking more than someone else, or maybe you've done a lot of talking, you can help somebody else out who maybe needs to get a chance to talk by saying something like, Jane, I know that you worked a lot on making t-shirts. Maybe you could tell the judges about that. Maybe if the judges ask about team spirit or something like that. And that just shows that you're really involving everyone on your team.
Okay, so here's some sample questions that a judge might ask you in a core values interview. So, for example, what's something you learned from your coach? So this could be something like you learned, even a technical thing like how to build a robot, or you learned a soft skill like how to work in a team. Another question could be, how did you manage your time? So how did you split up the tasks over the allotted time you had in order to make sure that they all got done? How did you pick your team name? This could be if you're a school team, related to your school name or related to something that you all have in common or that kind of thing. How do you deal with a team member who isn't having a good day? Just another good teamwork and empathy activity, just learning how to help people to work and have a good time while they're doing it. How did your team decide what to do when they met? So how do you learn to start meetings and what do you do each meeting? If FLL didn't have awards, would you still do it? So this is just a question kind of asking about, if you're really, are you in robotics for the winning and the awards, or are you in it for the learning experience and the teamwork aspects you would get out of it? And another question is, what does gracious professionalism mean to you? Gracious professionalism is one of the key words in FIRST Robotics, and it's just asking what it means to you to be a gracious professional and how you would apply that to your team and your experience in FLL.
Thanks for listening to our FLL webinar. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us via our website, www.machinemavericks.com, or email us at machinemavericks@gmail.com. Otherwise, you can stay tuned for the live Q&A session where we will answer any questions that you might have. And now we're going to show you what a sample core value exercise would look like. Keep your eyes out for the little tips along the way. Hi, everybody. My name is Ella, and we're from the Machine Mavericks. We're going to be demonstrating what a core value activity might look like over Zoom, which is what a lot of you are probably doing. So as you can see on the screen, we have our paper that the judges probably would be giving us. And right here on my phone, I have a timer. So we're just going to go on and get started.
All right, I'll read.
Lily just took on the role of reader. Keep your eye out for when other people take on different roles, such as asking when everybody's had a chance to speak, or keeping everybody on track in terms of time.
You are a member of a space crew
originally scheduled to rendezvous with a mothership on the lighted surface of the moon. However, due to mechanical difficulties, your ship was forced to land at a spot some 200 miles from the rendezvous point. During re-entry and landing, much of the equipment aboard was damaged, and since survival depends on reaching the mothership, the most critical items available must be chosen for the 200-mile trip. Below are listed the 15 items left intact and undamaged after landing. Your task is to rank them in terms of their importance to your crew and allowing them to reach the rendezvous point. Place the number 1 by the most important item, the number 2 by second most important, and so on to number 15
for the least important.
Great job listening, everybody. It's really important that when the team member is reading the challenge, everybody else stays attentive and looking at the person who's reading.
Does anyone have any questions?
Great job, Isabel. Asking if anybody has any extra questions about the challenge lets the judges know that you include everyone on your team.
I think I understand. Does everybody else understand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I can write the numbers using the annotation, which I'm really good at. Let's see. So let's just start off. Who has an idea of what should be first?
I would personally say that food and water seems pretty important to me.
I would also agree. I feel like oxygen might be important as well, just so you can breathe and stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I agree with Lily. I think that's a really great idea that we should have oxygen to breathe. But Olivia also has a really good point because we can't really function without food and water. So yeah, I think that's a great thing. So should I put oxygen first?
I would say so.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
They're doing great so far. Notice that everybody is talking in a positive and supportive manner, and that nobody is talking over each other. When someone disagrees, nobody says no. Everybody is kind and says yes, and I think that we could improve or do something else. Make sure that we're always being super inclusive and kind to one another.
You know what I think that we should do before we really get into this? We should do a team cheer. So,
sounds good.
How about I'll lead the cheer. We'll go 1, 2, 3, go Mavericks. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, go Mavericks. Okay, great. Now you can keep going.
Make sure to always leave time for some team spirit. It's a whole category on the rubric that the judges are using.
Great. Okay. Let's see what else. So I guess food concentrate, should that be number 2?
I think water. I think food concentrate is important too, but I think maybe water should be second because you can last longer without food than without water.
Yes, and I totally agree with that.
All right.
Is number 3?
Food con number 3. Okay.
I think
sounds
that's
like a good idea.
idea.
Well, Olivia, I know that food concentrate is really important to you. You brought it up first, but maybe the solar-powered FM receiver transmitter would be a little bit more important because we need to contact someone to rescue us, right? So what do you think about putting that third?
I think that's a good idea because in the time that you would starve, you would likely have someone be able to come and save you before then.
Okay, let's just do a time check, guys. We are at 6 minutes and 5 seconds. So maybe we should pick this up a little bit. We're almost halfway done.
I think we can maybe now start with the worst things. So that should be. Okay. Does anyone have any ideas for that?
Well, matches won't work. So maybe that.
Right, because of the lack of oxygen in space.
Yeah. Okay, let's put that as worst because it could also be a bad thing, a fire in space. All right.
Mm-hmm.
50. Maybe a self. Oh yeah, Namir, go ahead.
I have an idea. I think that the pistols won't be the greatest idea on the moon unless they're aliens. But even then, we could make friends with the aliens instead of hurting them. So I think that is something we'd put at the bottom.
Okay. Is everybody?
I agree. And also,
I agree.
I'm not sure how pistols would interfere with the moon's gravitational forces, so
that's true.
They might not be as fast.
Let's put
that's a good
down.
point.
Does anyone else have any ideas?
I think that a self-inflating life raft might not be very useful on the moon because there's no ocean or lake to use the life raft.
True, but you could also use it for shelter.
True, that's true. So maybe that's not the worst.
Because I would say personally that the signal flares, I don't know how much like just passing traffic there is on the moon. So I don't know. What do
Okay.
Also, do compasses work on the moon?
That's a good question. I don't know. So let's do like signal flares at 13.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think something else that might not be super useful to us might be parachute silk, because I think it says in the scenario that we've already landed, and I don't think we should jump off the moon. We're doing great.
See. Oh, we never did food concentrate. Isabel, would you like to, where do you think we should put food concentrate?
Pause. If you notice that someone on your team isn't contributing quite as much as everybody else, make sure to give them a chance to talk.
I think we should put food concentrate maybe after the receiver transmitter, because you need it to survive more than all the things that are left.
All right. Does everybody agree?
Yeah.
I think so. Maybe
right.
after that we could put on our stellar map, because if we're trying to find someone, they could tell us what stars are near them. That might help us.
Sounds good to me.
True.
Also, I think a first aid kit is pretty important, in case you get hurt.
Right.
Okay.
And
Should we put that 6?
The injection needle seems oddly specific, so I feel like there's something that they're wanting us to get at there.
Okay,
Yes.
6. Let's see.
I
We
think
have
the heating
2.5 minutes left, so we're good. We're on the right track.
Okay, I think the milk doesn't seem that important to me because we already have water.
Yeah.
What would the life raft be for?
Shelter.
Oh, that's
It's like one of those ones that you see in those, and I've said All Is Lost, that movie where they have the huge life raft.
Oh, I
Like
haven't
the
seen it,
top,
but
like the dome.
I'll trust the judgment
Well, can we
there.
say milk is like the next, whatever the next number is for least important? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
number
so I
12.
think that's 11.
we don't need milk.
12. Oh, yeah, 11.
I want to try dehydrated milk though. Sounds good.
It's not good.
Oh, really?
No.
What? Have you been to the moon?
Yeah, guys. This is where I've done this before.
All right.
Rope seems kind of important. I don't know.
Yeah, rope seems pretty
Yes.
important. Should we put that 6?
Right. And you could
Yeah.
hold
Oh, we
tight
already have
in
6
case.
now.
7.
7.
I think shelter is pretty important because it's pretty cold on the moon, so we might want to get that life raft.
But do,
Yeah,
do we
that's
want
true.
shelter for cold or portable heating unit for cold?
I think portable heating unit and then
heating,
maybe
yeah,
shelter
yeah.
after that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
I
really
agree.
important. And then I guess that leaves magnetic compass.
Yep, it's 10.
Cool.
Okay.
Wow.
Great job, guys.
Great work, team. Does everyone agree with this list?
When you're done, it's a great idea to ask if everyone agrees. Make sure that everyone is included and the judges know that you're listening to every single person on your team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are we good? Wow, okay.
All right. Let's
Your writing looks really good.
thank you. All right, so why don't we scroll down and see how we did?
Okay, so, uh-oh. Oh, yeah. 15, 4, 6 and 7, 12, 8, 11, 12, 1, 5 and 3, 9, 14. Oh, yeah, but there's not alright. So 2 is right. 10, 13. Use it as a stress signal. Oh, I missed that part. 7 and 6 is pretty close. Right, so you can intercept with vitamins. But I don't think vitamins are personally. I took a lot of vitamins, so I got that. Okay.
Well,
Okay, well, great
I'll just
job,
take those.
guys.
wow.
I think we acted pretty well there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
me
I
too.
think so too.
Thanks for watching.